let's have a good video. You believe in science and shape your life and worldview solely according to science? Then you're fucked. You think your individual experience is the only truth and stands above everything else? Then you are pretty naive and narrow-minded and have a limited worldview. And you're fucked too. The problem with social media is that many big channels often talk about science. But let's leave aside that they many times interpret the data wrongly and present science as the 100% truth that should apply to everyone. I've heard it so many times. Science lies, manipulates, distorts truth and reality, and discredits individuality and the real world. And yet, it's important. Science is a tool. Like a knife, you can use it to cut veggies, fruits, food basically, to nourish yourself and to improve and create life. Or you can stab people and extinguish life. It depends on how you use it. Today, I will tell you everything about science. You will learn about its strengths and weaknesses, methods of manipulation, and why science is so easy to manipulate. Real life scandals, why science is still important, and how to tell good from bad science. So everything, just everything. But first, follow for more. But Iggy, who are you to tell me something about this? Well, first, I'm Iguru. That's actually it. And I think more than enough for you. So, follow for more. But let's start easy and breezy. Basic weaknesses and limits of science. Epistemological limits. The limits of knowledge itself. No absolute truth, only approximation. Science provides models, hypotheses, and theories of observable phenomena, but not absolute truth. It's always provisional. Any theory can be thrown out tomorrow by new insights. Example, Newton was king with his physics until Einstein shredded it with his theory of relativity. Dependence on paradigms. What doesn't fit the paradigm is often labeled as nonsense and ignored. Paradigm shifts take time, and resistance is often fierce. Typical human. Change just takes way too long. Science tends to break down complex systems into individual parts. In doing so, the big picture can be lost. Example, in medicine, symptoms are often treated, not the system. Yet, doctors are super arrogant and think they are gods in white. Kind of laughable, really. Tied to empiricism. Only what's measurable or observable is considered scientific. Subjective experiences, consciousness, and spirituality, etc., are often seen as unscientific because they are hard to operationalize. Verification is impossible, only falsification. A hypothesis can never be definitively proven, only provisionally confirmed or refuted. That means there are no certain truths, only survivors of the test of time. Methodological limits, problems in the act of research itself, lab conditions versus reality. Science often works under controlled artificial conditions. The results are often not transferable into the real world. Measurement errors and uncertainties. No measuring instrument is perfect. There are always deviations, fluctuations, and room for interpretation. Statistical weaknesses. P-value misuse, called p-hacking, multiple tests without correction, small sample sizes. Many significant results are statistically questionable or just flukes. Generalization issues. Many studies are based on specific groups, like diabetes patients, which are actually not a representative of humanity. Yet, the results are still generalized to everyone. Not every research object is controllable. For example, in astrophysics, you can't run experiments, you can only observe. In psychology, you can't turn off behavior to test a single variable. Next, structural and institutional weaknesses. Career pressure and publication compulsion. Scientists are forced to publish constantly often fast rather than thorough. Quality suffers, creativity stifled, replicability becomes secondary. Elitism and hierarchies. Research often depends on prestigious institutes, professors, and networks. Outsiders, unconventional ideas, or whistleblowers struggle to be taken seriously. Lack of interdisciplinarity. Many disciplines research in isolation and don't talk to each other, which means holistic insights are missing. Lack of replication culture. Studies are rarely rechecked because it's not worth it. Replication attempts often are not published because they simply bring nothing new. Cognitive and psychological limits. Researchers, just humans too. They have their own worldviews, beliefs, fears, ambitions, and these affect what and how they research, which leads to unconscious selection mechanisms, like which hypotheses are tested, which data feels right. Confirmation bias. There is a natural tendency to interpret data so it confirms one's own hypothesis. Applies to everyone in the process. Everyone wants exciting results. Overconfidence and belief in authority. If famous researchers say something, it's often believed without question. Next, linguistic and conceptual limitations. Language creates reality. Scientific terms and concepts shape how something is thought about and often exclude alternatives. Operationalization reduces meaning. Complex phenomena must be made measurable. A lot of depth, context, and meaning is lost in the process. Now, hey, you made it this far and you're still in and motivated to learn more? Awesome. Let's move on to manipulation of science, structures, methods, and scandals. Why is science so easy manipulated? Dependence on third-party funding, often from governments or corporations. Whoever pays can often influence the direction, subtly or directly. Lack of independent review bodies. Peer review is often superficial. Peers review each other. The system is prone to error. Career and competition pressure. Research is a Shark Tank. Whoever publishes first gets funded and cited. This leads to high-pressure research instead of thorough work, and to the temptation to tweak the results. Information monopolies, which means large publishers control access to knowledge. They decide what gets visibility and what not. Economic interests play a huge role here too. Public science versus published science. Many studies never make the spotlight, others get blown up in the media. The public often sees only the filtered, distorted versions of research. How is science concretely manipulated? P-hacking and statistical tricks, which means testing data repeatedly until a significant result is found. This is what you do daily. Cherry picking. Only the data and results that fit the desired narrative are presented. Ghost writing and ghost management. Pharma and chemical companies often write studies that later are published under a renowned professor's name. Fake or fabricated data. Sadly not rare, there are documented cases of completely fabricated data sets. Manipulated study designs, in which they compare a product to a weaker competitor or use too short durations or targeted selection of subjects. Distorted interpretation, which means the conclusion in the abstract or the press release doesn't match the data, very common in industry research. Last, but a big one, non-publication of unwanted studies. They just disappear. Another part you all been waiting for. I know you love the drama, real-life scandals. Let's start with the classic one, tobacco industry. It was a decade-long strategy to sow doubt instead of providing proof. Scientists were paid off, own studies created, opposing research discredited. Next, Vioxx scandal. Merck suppressed critical data, faked studies, and influenced doctors. The result? Estimated 60,000 to 140,000 deaths due to heart attacks. Next, hormone-laced beef from Brazil. Due to that fact, many products were recalled. By the way, this was last year. Here another one. Zurich surgeon scandal. 223, at least 150 unnecessary deaths due to surgeon Francesco Maisano. Valsartan scandal in 2018. The blood pressure drug valsartan was contaminated for years with the potential carcinogenic substance NDMA, affected numerous patients worldwide. Oh, and there are many more. And these are the people, industries, money and power-hungry maniacs you want to trust and support with your money and help them to grow bigger. Are those even real humans? I was sure humans have empathy. More like system-programmed individuals, slaves, robots, clones? What do you think? Leave it down in the comments. Yeah, science stinks to high heaven, but it's also the best tool we have. It's far from the only one and definitely not the holy grail, but it's still super important. And here is why. Self-correction as a built-in principle. Science thrives on critique, replication, and revision. Flawed studies are exposed, withdrawn, or improved over time. No other system is so focused on correcting itself. Transparent methodology. Good scientific work openly shows how it reached its conclusions. This allows for objective evaluation by other scientists. Empiricism over opinion. Science is based on observation, experiments, and data, not beliefs or gut feeling. It can refute or confirm hypotheses without being dogmatic. Foundation of technology, medicine, and quality of life. Our modern life would be impossible without science. It's not perfect though. Democratization of knowledge. Ideally, science is open to everyone, regardless of origin or ideology. Knowledge belongs to humanity. And the last one, tool against error and manipulation. Science can be a weapon against disinformation when applied well. And finally, the most important part, the practical part. How do you tell good from bad science? Here are 3 tables. Pause here and read them in detail, or take a screenshot for later. It's like a compass that never points perfectly north, but better than walking aimlessly. Its weaknesses lie in how humans apply it, not in the method itself. I know, super long video, and we can talk about this topic for days, but now you won't be fooled so easily anymore. On the topic of how to read studies and diagrams properly and interpret data, I've created a little PDF file and I'm giving it out to you for free. Just go to my website, register with your email address, and I will send you the free PDF as a thank you gift. Plus, by doing so, in the future, you will have access to all the free content on my homepage. And now, follow for more.